Good afternoon. My name is Miss Wright Williams. Just you can clap. Thank you. I am one of the co-chairs for the Black History Program, and I'm super proud to have so many events this year, and I'm super happy to be working with such an awesome group of people here at Sam Houston. I'd like to acknowledge some of our sponsors here in the audience. We have Ms. Fancher, she's one of our sponsors. Ms. Kopp is here from the library, amazing lady. We have Ms. Brown in the back there, she's awesome. Hope you don't have to see her in ISS, maybe you'll see her in the hallways. She's a sweet lady. And then we have Mr. Pierce, who's also one of our sponsors. Omar, put that phone away. So this is just like a classroom setting. Today, our guest is Officer Davis. Give it up for Officer Davis. She's an Arlington Police officer, and she works here at our school. And with her, we are trying to unite the community and the school at the same time. And so she's here to tell you about what she does, her role in the community and in our school, and what Black history means to her, and how she plans on unifying police and the community. And we do have some questions for you that the kids have drawn up, and I already have those printed out for you, so you can just read them and answer them, or I can read it for you. Thank you for coming. Let's give her another round of applause tonight.
All right, my name is Officer Davis. As you guys know, I am the SRO here at Sam Houston. I've been here since January last year. You guys can hear me? Okay. I don't like microphones. So, a little about myself. I've been a police officer for 8 years. I was on patrol the whole entire time until last year, until I came to be an SRO. My background, I was a teacher 11 years before I became a police officer. So I chose to be an SRO because of my background. I chose to be a police officer for numerous reasons. I see a lot of our youth don't know the law, end up getting in trouble with the police and getting arrested and getting records for the rest of their life for situations that they put themselves in that needed to be handled differently. I enjoy my job. Today, I apologize for me being late, but I was dealing with the wonderful Sam Houston students who decided to be here. Yeah, there's 2 fights.
Oh,
yeah.
I should have been there.
And it's good that you shouldn't be, and that's another thing. We'll talk about that. These fights. Besides me having to work harder, you don't know, unfortunately, with the way society is now, people bringing guns, people have been killed at these fights. There's already rumors about fights going to happen tomorrow that will have guns. So I say that patrol will be out there, I will be out there, but do not put yourself in a situation that you don't have to. There's nothing fun about going to a fight. You go to a fight, you end up getting shot. Ain't nothing good about that. I don't want to call nobody's parent because you put yourself in a situation because bullets have no names. And that's one of the reasons why I spend time and I talk to students. There's some students here in the audience that don't particularly care for me because I'm going to tell the truth at all times. And I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to inform you, and I'm here to help you be the best person you can be, because this is just high school. There's way more important stuff that goes on in life that after you get out of high school. You'll look back. I graduated from high school a long time ago. There was not even internet when I graduated from high school. But I look back, a lot of the stuff and nonsense that I dealt with doesn't even matter anymore because life has evolved and become so much more. Things I do in the community. I talk to young children. When I was on patrol, I used to spend a lot of times going into people's houses for domestics and drugs and 15-year-olds pregnant and 15-year-olds then friends then got shot. And so the decisions you make now will have a lifelong effect. Good or bad, you decide which ones they're going to have. So that's what I do. I love my job. I love summers because I'm back on patrol. I'm able to see a lot more people than just Sam Houston. I get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Most of the ugly, and that's just part of life. For me, Black history is very important. One, because I'm Black. Two, because I just see changes that need to be made in our younger society. From the way you behave in public, to how loud you are, to the way you dress. All of that is part of your character, and it goes with you. And a lot of it is not positive. But at the end of the day, the only person who can make that change is yourself. And if you don't make that change, and then you have to come deal with me, don't get an attitude. Take the L, learn from it, and keep it moving. And that's what a lot of young people don't do, is take responsibility for their actions. They go calling mamas and daddies up here to want to talk to me. It's not going to make a difference. Because at the end of the day, you guys are young, turning into young adults, and you have to take responsibility for your actions and your behavior. And like I said, there's always a positive and a negative with everything. We decide to do it. So, what else did you want me to say? I was prepared, but then not y'all.
It was a rumbling.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
We were finna go to the room.
Do what?
We were finna go to the room.
You're not going anywhere.
I'm
proud to say that some of our students made the choice to come here instead of going to the rumble. So thank you.
And that's big.
But what we also, yes, that's good. Thank you. There's some questions that students posed. If there are any questions in the audience, we have some questions here. Are there any questions about what Officer Davis has spoken on so far? Does anyone have any questions about what she said?
Okay, so my plan, right, is to graduate, go
You
to
can
college.
stand up and say your name.
Oh, hello, I know y'all know. My name's Junior. Can I sit back? So my plan is to go to college, and then when I go to college, I want to pursue acting. But like, if that doesn't work, I want to be in the LAPD. How do you what are the steps that you have to go through?
Okay, so first, most important that you have to keep in mind, when I became a police officer, anywhere, any state, if you want to be a police officer, they will do a background check. If you have a misdemeanor A on your record, you're automatically disqualified. That's anything to do with drugs. If you get into domestic assaults, any assaults that are class A, you're automatically eliminated from being a police officer. Second, tattoos are really big nowadays. If you have any tattoos on your hands, on your neck, you cannot become a police officer, and you can't go into the military. So those of you guys who are thinking about getting tattoos, the golden rule is if you can cover it, then you'll be fine. You go through a background check. For Arlington PD, you have to have a college degree. Some other departments, you don't have to. You just have to have at least 2 years degree, 2-year degree. Then you go through your background check. If you pass that, you have to go through your physical agility. You have to be able to jump a 6-foot wall, run, sit-ups, push-ups, all of that in time. And then from that, you go to your final boards, and where you go. Yes.
It's like I'm 6 foot.
Yes.
Like jump.
Yes.
Jump
Like
over.
I had to run and jump over a 6
and
foot.
like get,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Can you do that now?
I can do it now.
Let me
So
see.
right here in the forward, you your party do?
All depends on what day it is.
Today,
the next
today at the Rumble. Like, if you come here at the Rumble, you're like,
Yes, she probably would have got caught. She
She would have been like, freeze.
Okay, let's hear what they have to say.
So you go through all your interviews. Once you get that, you have to go through the police academy. The police academy is 32 weeks. There you learn tactics. You learn how to shoot. You learn how to do defensive tactics, how to fight on the ground, how to get away from a knife. Tactical stuff like I have a kid in my chest that if I get shot or someone else, a tourniquet, I know how to have you stop bleeding and save your life. I learned all the penal codes. You know, what you can be arrested for, different charges, everything. You go through that, and then you go through field training. And field training is when you are actually in a car with like your mentor, and you start off with basic traffic stops, and you go up to all the way to arresting people. You do that for 6 months, and then you get cut loose to be a police officer. But it's not done there. You're on probation. So after you get on probation. You decide to go out and act a fool or arrest someone that wasn't right, you could be fired for any reason for those 6 months. And that's the process. It's hard, but it's really rewarding. I did it at 32. So it can be done. It was difficult. It was a challenge. But I'm an athlete. I ran track in college. So it helped me to get back in shape, and you can do it. It's mindset. It's all about determination. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it.
I have another question.
Okay.
Do y'all have any fat police officers?
Yes, we do, but they did not start off fat police officers because I said you have to get through the academy and you work out every day. We have physical tests and everything. So they didn't come and they didn't start off fat. They fat now, but they didn't start off that way.
So what did they get like a change?
Go ahead.
But for what did they get to like a change? Like the fat people?
Well, I mean, just think about it.
I'm not trying to be mean.
Most people that are not in shape don't get in foot chases. What do? They get in their car and they chase you in their car. And just think, if you get in a foot chase, we're getting on our radio and we have a whole lot more officers coming to help us. So it's just not a one-on-one. It's going to be a whole lot of us.
Like what if they go through like an alley, like I don't know where you're at? Like y'all call like the helicopters or something?
No, we don't have a helicopter here in Arlington, but I've worked east side my whole career. So I know all the back alleyways. Or say you're lost and you don't know exactly where you're at, you call out, hey, there's a pink car here, there's a pink house. You know, you give clues so officers can be able to find, or you call out, hey, I passed Remenzi Street. And so everyone can get to that area so they're able to find it. And I have a body camera. When my body camera is off, it sends a signal and they can find exactly where I'm at.
Oh, bro. That's dope.
Yes.
You guys have
Is it off right now?
It's off. It's off. I'll show you.
And so when you turn it on, turn your signal off?
No, it's always off. So this is our body cameras. Every Arlington police has it. It's just, this is tops.
Is it a phone?
No, it's kind of like a phone, but let's say I can see like this. Why you see me with my watch? If you see watch, it's recording. And if I wanted to stop recording, so anytime you talk to me about anything important, it goes on because it's your word against me. And at the end of the day,
I'm gonna win.
no.
You're gonna win.
No, and it's not even about, it's not about winning, it's protecting you and protecting me. Because, you know, sometimes we have parents that come back, well, my daughter didn't say this, and like, oh, yes, they did. And I have my body camera. Or situations might happen, and my body's camera's on, so my sergeants and my supervisors are able to review exactly what happened. And it's for safety of, hey, these body cameras saved a lot of people's lives lately because it's more accountability on the police. So you have to think about it that way. So it protects everybody. At first, I didn't like it. At first, I used to cuss a whole lot on calls if it was called for. Now this body camera is a reminder, oh, Reagan, Officer Davis, you need to wash your mouth. So it makes me more accountable. And also, if something happens, because you know, all police, we're all human. We're not always going to do everything correct. But this will get you out of trouble or it can get you in trouble. And that's the way you have to look at it.
Okay, so we have some questions that were posed by our Black History Month student panel. Number one is, how do you handle situations in which call to question your morals rather than the rules you are required to follow? Do those go hand in hand, or do you find at times you may fight yourself?
There's been times where you question everything. I mean, that's just part of life. Will I always follow the law? Absolutely. But before I make any arrests, like there's been times where I've had to arrest some people for some things I'm not quite sure, because I don't necessarily arrest, I'm transported. So I always make sure that I can sleep at night. So I always make sure my morals line up to what my job is. My job is to be morally correct. That's just part of our job. We take an oath to follow the law, right or wrong. Certain things I don't agree with, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's right, and I'm going to make sure I treat everybody with respect.
Good answer. Good answer. What are your strengths and weaknesses? You don't have to tell us all of them. And how may they hinder you? And how do you take advantage of said strengths?
One of my strengths, some people see it as a weakness, I am bold. I will always speak my mind. I will always tell the truth. Good or bad, I will always tell you the truth. A weakness is that I have a compassion. And I don't like to see 17 or above get charges put on them that will affect them the rest of their life that they will not be able to get rid of. I don't like that. So there's some times where I'm like, man, I'm not lead officer, but I will do this differently because I think long term. Because some of you guys don't think long term, you think short term, and what you do now, like having weed. You got a blunt. If I gotta arrest you and you're 17, it's going on your records the rest of your life. You have now just closed so many doors. You can't go into no law enforcement. You can't become a nurse. Nurse, doctor, no military. You know, some places, Walmart, some places will not hire you with that on your record. So you close so many doors. So I always try to make sure, like, if I have to put charges on you, it's legit. It's not, I'm not one of those officers who are like, they did it, or maybe they did it, but I'm just gonna do it. No, because it's gonna affect you the rest of your life. We had a boy here get picked up for having pills. Off patrol. He wanted to be a police officer. Never. He can't anymore because of that charge. Yes.
Will you please, because I've been here a long time, and I don't think most of our students understand that silly things that you don't think about, because you're mad, you're upset, you got a point to prove, you want to be in the crowd, whatever. Something you can do today will affect your life for the next 50 years.
Yes. Negative. Because you could go on your record, it might be something simple as, okay, you got a whole bunch of tickets, and you decide not to pay for them, and you get picked up because you have warrants. Any application, have you ever been in jail? You circle yes. Most people right there, they don't care if it was for warrants. They don't care what it was for. They say yes, your application automatically goes to, I'm not going to hire. So even if you guys start driving, you get tickets, you can't afford tickets. You call the court, you make arrangements because they turn into warrants. A warrant is if you get pulled over, you're going to go to jail. You have to put that down because it's so easy. When we do a background check, they look for all that. So decisions you make now, 17 and older, when you're 16 and below, 15, 16, that can be expunged from your record. But it's a whole process. But it's learned behavior. If you start being bad when you're 10, you think automatically when you turn 17 you're just going to become a saint? No, it's learned behavior. So if you're going to learn to do something, learn to behave. Learn to be a good law-abiding citizen. So when you do turn 17, it's not 18, it's 17 in Texas. 17, even though you live at home with mommy and daddy, in the state of Texas, you are an adult. So you will go to big boy jail, and it will be on your record forever.
One more thing. Would you explain about, the sex offender thing that is on your license or on everywhere if you live in a certain area, it shows up?
Yes. Okay. Sex offenders, big thing. There's a 3-year rule. 3 years. Say you're 16 and you talk to a 19-year-old, or if you're 19 and you decide to talk to a 16-year-old, in my eyes, you are now a sex offender. Because you cannot mess around with someone who is in 3 years of you. okay? So what happens? You're going to get arrested, you're going to go to jail, and you have to become a registered sex offender. There is a website that anyone, it's public. You can find out all the registered sex offenders that live in this area, and there's a lot. Because when I work patrol, we do it twice a year. We go and knock on their doors. We go and knock on all these sex offenders' doors to make sure they're still living there, make sure they're still following their probation, and if you have a car for your registered sex offender, it comes up on your plate. So when we pull you over, it says you go 1012. 1012 means can you talk? There are people listening. Registered sex offender. So you can be driving down the street minding your own business. I run your plate. I can figure out who's a registered sex offender. It follows you. When you go to apply for apartments, if they let you in, the apartment complex has to notify the police. We have a special unit that only deals with sex offenders. And if you decide you don't want to register as a sex offender, you're going to go back to jail. And our warrant unit and our fugitives will come find you. We've had some picked up from work. We can't find them. They find them.
What types of crimes, Officer Davis, fall under sex offender? Because I don't want you to think that, just being with a 16-year-old girl when you're 19 or vice versa. I need you to know what exactly a sex offensive crime is.
Okay, here's a good one. That happens here at Sam Houston High School, and I'm pretty sure you guys all know about it. 2 kids decide to have sex together on campus. We don't need to say anymore. They have sex. You get caught by security. You come to me. It doesn't matter your age, because if you're under 17, you are a child. So therefore, you can't consent to anything. Even though you guys might both agree, you guys can be arrested and be put on the sex offender list because you decided to have sex on campus. It's called public lewdness. We just had 4 kids at Arlington High get arrested for it. It's a real deal.
Goes on your record.
It's on your record. It's on your record.
Don't mess up your record.
I'm dead serious. You'll be surprised. You guys probably know there's a lot of stuff that goes on at Sam Houston High School and other high schools. But you have to be mindful. Boys, you think you just want to engage in oral sex? That is a crime. It's called public lewdness if you get caught.
Public lewdness. We'll discuss it
Girls,
in
same
class.
thing. Public lewdness. You will be charged. You can get arrested for that because it's on campus and it goes on your record. So just be mindful. Say you're out in a car at a park and a police officer pulls up, same charge.
One of my daughter's friends just got caught up in a car, and they weren't really doing anything. They were just making out. But the security pulled up, and they both got suspended. And being that she's a senior, she's on my daughter's varsity dance team, she got suspended from the team for 4 weeks. Just the littlest things. And I told my daughter, don't mess up your senior year. But just the littlest things end up messing you up. And you think, I'm just kissing. But you're in a public place. You're all locked up in a car, hot and heavy. And now, and now the police rolls up on you. It's like, public lewdness. You get a ticket. Don't you get a ticket?
That's like an $800 ticket.
Oh my God. Your parents are going to have to pay for it.
Right.
And then everybody's going to know about it. Okay? Super embarrassment. Let's get on to our next question. Enough about public lewdness because we see it enough every day. So, as a black police officer, what are your thoughts on police brutality on people of color?
Police brutality on any color is wrong. In that case, you have to take it case by case. No matter, you have to think about it this way. No matter what your job is, from doctor to police to teachers, you have people who do things right, people who do things wrong. Is it wrong? Absolutely. But I guarantee you there's more police out here trying to do the right thing and out here helping us than doing the wrong thing. So when you guys see it on TV, you always have to look at it from both sides of the perspective. Don't pass any judgment because in reality you weren't there. you only seeing a small piece. Does it happen? Absolutely. Should it stop? Absolutely. But always put yourself in the situation. What can I do to avoid this situation? Some situations you can avoid, but others you can't. Is it wrong? I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Puerto Rican. It happens to everyone. And being as a black police officer, it's difficult when you see stuff like that, when you know you don't agree. But do I make sure I treat everyone with the same amount of respect? So I can only be accountable for me and my actions.
Thank you. And our last question, is we all have children. What is the biggest impact you've made in someone's life through your work as a police officer so far?
I've been on many calls where I see kids not having beds and food and clothes and diapers. There's groups of us that go out and help. We just buy stuff. It's not for the news. It's not for the recognition. It's to help families who are in need. That's my biggest impact that I've given. I've gotten people out of jail in my own personal life. Cousins. We all got cousins. We all got family. Everybody's not on the straight and narrow. Just because I'm a police officer doesn't mean my whole family are good law-abiding citizens. But it's given me the opportunity to really reach out and teach. Like, hey, if you get pulled over, you need to do this. You need to do this in this situation. This is how you should handle this situation. You might not like it, but if you want to stay out of trouble, this is what you need to do. And just really being able to give back. Being able to sit down with a young lady who's struggling, sitting able, having conversations, being able to help outside of just being in this uniform. Being in this uniform, you see a lot of bad and ugly, but you go into a house and you see, I had a newborn, no milk, no clothes. I was able to go to Walmart, get this child what they need. That's what's important. That's my biggest impact. If I can feed a kid, it's all worth it, because kids don't deserve certain things. So my impact is being able to help any way, shape, or form. Taking a woman and her children out of an abusive house. Taking them to shelters. That's my biggest help.
Buy food stuff out of your own personal money.
Oh yeah. I'm blessed to have I have a good job. I make good money. Everybody's not as fortunate. So in other ways, if I can help, I do. Yes. Yeah. We just call our victim assistants, and our victim assistants, they have vans and transportation, and they're able to take them to all those. And if you're in a shelter, all that is at the shelter for you, and they do it all there at the shelter.
Well, we want to definitely thank Officer Davis for coming. Is there any other concerns or questions that you would like to address with Officer Davis? Not you.
Yes.
Like, what's been the worst call you've been to?
What'd you say?
Like, the worst call. Like, they had to.
I have two. It was a really bad car accident and a child died. And another one, this boy got shot up and he died right in front of you. Those are bad. And they're bad because a person dies, but then you have to go tell their family. And that's what's really heartbreaking to hear that cry that a mother just lost her child and the only thing you could do was stand there. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
I watched this show called 911, and there was this one episode where the guy was, I think he sniffed some bath salts, and he was just like seeing things and firing people's clothes.
Yeah, that, I don't know, I've never seen nothing where they bit throats or anything like that, but we had this guy, big, he was yoked up, military guy, had taken something, it took 10 of us to hold him down. They become like the Hulk, like really. and the doctors just kept sticking them, trying to sedate them. It was absolutely terrible. Those kind of calls, you're like drained for weeks because you use all your energy. That stuff is real. I've had to fight this little old lady. I do want something. Oh, it's like the beast. I'm telling you, I'm like, zip it help. You know, it happens. So and that's another thing. Don't be smoking this stuff.
Don't be smoking that stuff.
You don't know what's in it. Don't be popping these pills. You don't know if they've been laced. I'm telling you, I've seen a boy. I saw him when I first started normal. He got about some bad stuff, and he's certified. He gets a check now. Because whatever he smoked has messed his brain up for life. Whenever we see him, he likes to fight us, and we take him right to JPS to get some help. So be careful.
We thank you for coming. I know you thank us.
Yeah, but if you guys ever need me, I'm here. I am a very nice person. A lot of people don't think so, but I really am.
She is.
But I'm going to handle business, and I'm going to tell you the truth. You might not like me, but you don't pay my bills, so it's okay.
And the other thing, guys, you need to understand is her job is here. She is here to protect us. So sometimes, if she may seem standoffish or not what you think an approach to a police officer should be, then that's because she's probably surveying the land or just doing her job. Okay, so remember that too. Okay, but you're more than welcome, yes, Ms. Officer Davis, to come up and say hi.
Come to my office. If I'm not busy, I'll speak. You know, I had a lot of students having a lot of questions about that lockdown drill. And it wasn't a drill. We had a student running around on campus that was involved in a burglary, and we didn't know if he had any weapon or anything else. This stuff is real. Don't let open doors. Spread the word. He got in because someone opened the door. Don't open doors for people.
Let the teachers do it. I did it today. One student didn't get in because he didn't have an ID. Okay, let the teachers do that.
I'm in the 9th grade center, in the back. You know where the welcome center is? Right there, that office. I don't know what they're doing.
Oh,
In the 9th grade center.
behind the
Yeah,
reception desk?
mhm.
Okay. It's like it used to be like 313 or something. I don't know what it is now.
It's like over there in that office.
Yeah.
The manager
It's
and
behind,
all
Yeah.
that.
it's behind the reception where the welcome center is, so.
You just say, hey, I didn't say Officer Davis. I'll come out with it. If you hear of any fights or anything else, anybody selling drugs on campus, which I'm working with right now, let me know. You ain't a snitch. You're saving somebody's life. Think about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then. Thank you, Officer Davis, and thank you all for coming. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Where's it gonna go?
On my Twitter.
What?
So
No.
Mr. Beaker like it. He's out of town. He said it's like
Come on.
picture.
Pictures on
Fun.
my hair is probably all messed up from being up here.
Let me see. Oh, my hair's on.
I sure hope you're not.
I'm a player, but don't worry, you won't be in it.
I'm not.